Welcome back to our show, your show, Let's Talk Stocks. And joining me today is a very important lady. She's Carol Robertson, and she's a senior business development partner at a CNW Business. But I'll tell you a little secret. She is the senior government lead for CNW Business across the Caribbean. I tell you that I know big people. Welcome to the show, Carol.
Thanks very much. Thank you for having me.
CNW Business. So you've been partnering with the stock exchange as the lead technology partner on this conference.
Yes.
What has kept you coming back? Why?
Clearly, in its 19 years, it has had great impact on its participants and on the development of our large corporate segment of the market. It's had great impact on the development of our focus on entrepreneurs, and it's done that with these two sections of our society, I would say, in meaningful ways, providing a lot of guidance, sharing information, issues, digging into issues so that persons can become more aware, and also to increase the number of investments that are taking place in Jamaica and indeed around the Caribbean. So it's been very important. One of the things we saw coming out of it also was the introduction of the social stock exchange, which was a very, very important milestone, great vision behind that. And that has had its spin-offs because we see where companies, I'll call the name of a company, Def Can Coffee. I happen to be involved with the deaf community, and the institution that houses the Def Can Coffee organization, I'm involved with that. And I have seen where they became listed on that social stock exchange. Their visibility, although they were visible, it increased significantly after that engagement. That's what listing does. And I believe too that just the engagement with the stock exchange improves some of the quality of the companies, because you have to adhere to certain standards to remain on the stock exchange. And so it builds discipline, it builds professionalism, and it augurs well for every aspect of the organization. As it relates to the social stock exchange, though, I do know that persons who would not normally have paid attention to the stock exchange in its general sense now do. And then the power of listing as a social enterprise is very important, because persons with disabilities have now access and now have the opportunity to learn. And in the case of Def Can Coffee, they are now taking very, very seriously their commitment to developing entrepreneurship skills within the deaf community. And people are starting to now become entrepreneurs themselves and no longer looking as persons who can't, which is the story behind Def Can, but they actually can. So there are so many benefits in Jamaica and across the region, the synergies, the similarities in the issues. We are a Caribbean nation, we share a lot, and it gives us an opportunity to leverage experience and grow.
Absolutely great. Now, you've said a whole lot a while ago, and maybe I wonder we should just cut the interview here and just play this all over. But there are companies out there who are saying CNW Business. So it's not just the Jamaica Stock Exchange and the Regional and Capital Markets Conference, but you're seen as a lead in the industry and a lead partner, if you may, by a lot of top companies. How come? How did you achieve that? And why are companies just,
I actually love that question. That's nice, because Cable and Wireless as an organization has been in the region for over 150 years. I say this all the time, so people who know me will know that what I'm going to say just about now. But I have one favorite story. Well, I have many favorite stories, but this is one of them. Cable and Wireless brought the telephone. We installed the first 50 telephones in Kingston, Jamaica, 7 years after Alexander Graham Bell patented the technology.
Really?
Yeah. And that's a very, very interesting fact, and it leads to a whole lot of other stories. But why I like it is because it is very instructive on how we operate as an organization as it relates to technology. We are willing, and we do continue to deliver technology in the market before people ask for it, before people even know what it is, because at that time very few people would have known what the telephone was. We knew what telegraphs were and we were using that, but nobody really understood the concept of picking up a device and speaking to somebody over distance. But we installed 50 devices, all right? And look where we are today. So I say that to say that our journey with our customers, we've been here from that 150-year time frame. We continue to research, test, partner with the developers of technology, because we're synonymous for the telephone, but it's Alexander Graham Bell. So we will leverage the technologies that are out there and adapt them to our culture, to our environment, and deliver them so that the nation can enjoy them. And so as it relates to the Jamaica Stock Exchange and other enterprises that are here, but just for the stock exchange for the moment, we took the journey with them from the telephone all the way through. And in about 2016, we took the journey with them to move the stock exchange along at the time with Barbados and Trinidad to a cloud environment. Oh, yes. And that was a little bit before everybody was talking about cloud. But the services were delivered out of our Cable and Wireless owned data centers in Curacao, in Panama, in Colombia. And it started as a joint venture, joint activity with the 3 stock exchanges so that we could leverage the economies of scale. But within a year, the Jamaica Stock Exchange separated themselves, took their own environment, and we supported them through the onboarding of the NASDAQ solution that they now use to manage the trades. And so we stayed the journey, bearing in mind that we would have developed our data centers across the region before. They were there, they were ready to be used, and we just continue to educate our enterprises on how technology can help them. We continue to serve that environment even now, out of Panama and Colombia. And after that, to kind of create a complete scenario, we worked with many of the brokers to ensure that they had the right infrastructure in their own locations to effectively communicate with the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Because we know that a split second can translate to lots of money in terms of a transaction. And so we were able to create the entire ecosystem using the technology, the collaboration, the communication at such high levels, at high quality, that you don't hear anybody having trouble with their transactions. So it seems like it's probably working.
Seems like it's working.
Yeah.
Listen, so the technology has evolved. The environment has changed totally. Cable and wireless, as you mentioned, itself has come through many different changes, transformations, TOJ, etc., mainly driving telephones. And while businesses use telephone, homes use telephone, but to now where we are today, where we are looking at not C&W telephone, but C&W business. How did you manage to morph into business as you saw the changes coming, knowing that the needs of businesses, given the changes in technology and given the fast-paced movement that transactions are going to be taking place at? How would you have envisioned that to morph yourself into C&W business ready for the market?
Yeah, it's about staying on the cusp of technology, seeing ourselves as innovators, and staying aligned with the technology developers and the innovators from that creativity standpoint, and leveraging the technologies, leveraging the solutions, bringing them in, tailoring them to our culture as we address the business issues that need to be solved. So we will always continue to keep the radar out, look at emerging technologies, assess them to determine how well they fit our environment. And if we believe that there is a future for a certain technology, we will start to prepare ourselves to deliver it to the market, just as we did with the telephone. We see the telephone becoming almost obsolete now, replaced by the mobile phone. And so we continue to build out our mobile network. We continue to partner with the major services that are available in the mobile space and the improved devices. As we get more demanding, our phones are now now our desktops. And so we make sure we bring these things, we make these things available. But we choose there's so many options out there, but we choose the ones that fit our environment, because culture has got to be the driver of everything. It's not everything we see used in North America that we can bring to the Caribbean. And so we give attention to that. And then the other thing that we do is, another important thing about the conference is learning about the vision that's in the room across the enterprises, where people want to go, what their problems are, and how they see themselves getting to the next milestone. And we will then marry the two. What are the goals? What are the milestones? What's required to get there? How can technology help? And then we bring our partners, massage our solutions, and then we bring them to the enterprises, large and small, so that they can very importantly, not necessarily expend all the capex that's required, because pivoting in and by yourself requires a lot of capex. We deliver all ICT services as services, so we do the investment, you take our services as a subscription-based service, and then you can go to market, you can reap the benefits of the technology much sooner than you would if you had to wait for capex to become available.
I like the fact that you looked at capex and the cost benefit and so on, and your investment and the services. That's great. Here's the elephant in the room, though, Carol. Cybersecurity. As we grow, as we evolve, as the technology changes and so on, security is always an issue, and there are some people who try to stay ahead, and how have you managed or are managing the cybersecurity threat that faces many of our businesses, as they continue to grow and expand?
Yeah. First thing to note, and I think you said it, it's always been an issue. So I think as long as we've known ourselves, we've known about antivirus, and we've known about upgrading and keeping your subscription current with whatever tool it is that you use. And so we've always been conscious. With our responsibility, we deliver all of the data and voice services to the region. We have a responsibility to protect our own network. So over the years, we have been doing it. It's just that the attacks at that level have now coming direct to the consumer. So as a society, or societies of the Caribbean, we're becoming more aware, or we're seeing, or that we are more vulnerable. So we have been doing it, and we have a strong cybersecurity team within our organization. We leverage the skill set, the knowledge that we have, the tools that we have to protect our own network, to now create services for our customers. So we will support with services that are designed to support your network and your end users and your data at various points. But as we move forward through 2024, and we started to see all the things that, ransomware attacks and all the other things that are happening out there, one thing holds true. And that is that every single person has to take responsibility for being cyber aware, and being or mitigating the risk that they pose, either to themselves or to the organizations that they work for, or the organizations that they engage with. And how you do that, it's the same rule. Educate yourself, know what this thing is about. Let's not continue to have this, it's not going to happen to me thought process, because all of us are vulnerable. Everything we do now has an online component or is directly online, so it is an attractive space for cyber criminals. And that's not going to change anytime soon. So we need to understand what are the entry points, which most of the time are us, users. It's not necessarily the network, it's us. When we click on links, we open emails, we do things, we follow leads, we get enticed because there's a great reward dangling in front of us, and you must click it now, click it now. We need to learn to resist those, the common phrase becoming cliche, think before you click. And so what's the tools that are available? Yes, you have your antivirus, your anti-spam, you have your behavioral tools that will check changes in behavior on the network and use us as indicators that something is going awry. But we also need to leverage the tools that are out there to keep ourselves aware, to stay abreast of the tricks of the trade, so to speak, for the size of cyber criminals, and not become an entry point. And that's, I think, every organization I encourage to embark on a program of continuous knowledge sharing and training and assessment and testing, because the other thing we do is we learn something today and we forget it tomorrow. So we have to keep that cycle going. And then we just manage.
Carol, you've done fabulous in really putting C&W business out there. As we look to wrap, is there anything else that you'd want to leave on the minds of the viewers? Why C&W business is the top choice or should be their top choice?
All right, there's a lot that I could say, but let me say it as succinctly as possible. I think C&W Business is uniquely positioned to support all industries, businesses of all kinds, because of our approach. And we've discussed it quite a bit here. We are foundational in terms of our connectivity. Everybody knows us for that. But what we have is the ability to add value to that connectivity and really use that to give your business, large or small, a differentiator. We partner with industry leaders in technology, and we translate the technology into attainable subscription-based services. So every company, small or large, can leverage the same technologies that we're accustomed to seeing only at the enterprise level. And then the last thing I'd add to that is our approach, which is going to be consultative. There's no cookie cutter solution anymore. It's about who are you, what are you trying to accomplish, what are your obstacles, and how can we overcome them? And we're ready to have that conversation with you and get you to leverage technology in the best way possible for your organization. Call us.
Lovely way to end it. Absolutely agree with you. We are your technology partner, and we're ready to talk with you to get you exactly where you want to go. Carol Robertson, and she's the Senior Business Development Partner at C&W Business. Thank you very much for joining us
Pleasure.
today.
Thank you for talking with me.